What's going on, y'all? This your boy, Chris Simmons, coming to you with another podcast episode. And as always, I'm with my partner in crime. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Miss Sandra Cruz. What's going on with your girl? How you doing?
Hey, can't seem to get my glasses clean up. I'm doing good though.
What? Man, I
Yeah,
thought you, man, come on now. You still trying to get yourself together, man.
totally.
Got you wiping out your
Totally.
glasses, fixing your hair. You know what I'm saying?
If I don't see, it's gonna be a problem.
Oh, come on. All right, listen, man. What you need to see, all you got. Hey, listen, man. It's all good for real. It's all good.
I'm
Um,
doing good though, Chris. How are you?
I mean, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's a beautiful day, nice day outside. I always gotta talk about the nice weather down here, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I just love it when the sun is out and what I'm saying, like the sun is just shining bright, because that gives me like that feeds like positive energy, you know what I'm saying? That like just
Yeah,
gives me that positive energy, you know what I'm saying? Like the sun is very
vitamin
powerful.
D.
So
Yeah, vitamin D.
exactly. So you already know I'm about to go outside later today, take a walk, just be outside, enjoy nature for real. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of us need to do for real. Like a lot of us like to stay inside and on our technology devices all day. But you got to get outside and enjoy nature, man. You know what I'm saying? Like take that time to go out, explore, God's creation, you know what I'm saying? Like just connect with nature, because it really
very true.
helps, like, what I'm saying, connect with your inner self as well. So I definitely recommend, like, for those of y'all who may like to sit inside, play video games, like to be on your phone on Instagram all day. Hey, take the time, put that stuff down, man. Go outside, take a break from that. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, that was just me, being on my soapbox for real. Um, now, now we were supposed to record an episode yesterday, but me and Sandra, we got into a conversation, a really good conversation, um, about some different things that it was more just like it was more or less just us talking. Um, and we had a very interesting conversation about stuff that we both see and so things of that nature. But anyway, we are on the podcast today, and we're just gonna get right into it. And today's topic, man, I'm telling y'all, man, I think this what I want to do, man. I just need y'all to open your eyes, man. That's really what I want. That's really what I want y'all to do, man. I just really want you to when you listen to this, when you listen to these episodes, man, I want to go, in a direction to where it's like I want to give y'all content to where y'all can really like just be more aware. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
just see, what you already have within yourself. So today we're going to be talking about self-worth over money. You know what I mean? Self-worth over money. And the reason I wanted to talk about this, man, I mean, if you just look, what I'm saying? You just look like how the world is structured today.
Hmm.
Money is like one of those essential resources that,
We
is
need.
that we need. And we need to like be able to like pay for stuff with the form of money. And
Yeah.
some of us go to the point to where we are, sometimes we can go too far when it comes to trying to get money. And what I mean by that is, you look at, you just look at like some of the stuff that's going on today, man. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why is it that some people feel the need to give up their values, their self-worth, their value, and their beliefs just to get a quick dollar? And what I mean is like some people like, you can look on social media, man, like you see like different content, that people like put out there, to get fame or to get money, such as, for example, I'm gonna call it out. Like one thing that I've noticed, especially with a lot of females, is the OnlyFans accounts. And it's like, what's up? Like, why are you exposing your body out there on social media just so people can be willing to pay for your content? You know what I'm saying? And again, like if that's what you do, that's what you do. But it's like, from my perspective, it's like, why would you, sell yourself like that? Sell your most prized possession that God created you and sell that for people to see. You see what I'm saying? It's just like stuff like that. That's just like one example that I see. And I don't mean to call out women, but it's just like something that's just like, what? You know what I'm saying? This is like a form of online prostitution. I mean, that's just what it is. I'm just gonna call it out for what it is. And
Um,
like,
can I jump in here real quick though before I forget my point?
go ahead.
It's so true what you're saying. That's one of the one examples that I thought about, and I was just talking about this today with actually my cousin, in the morning time. I think that a lot of times these girls don't people, because it's not just these girls, because it's not just only fans. There's a lot more to it if we go deeper, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times I think people don't place the value where it needs to go. For example, placing the value on yourself. I know I am worth it. I know what I want for myself. What direction am I going? Now, this is a lot of life coaching here and a lot of psychology. What value do I place on myself? Um, when we tend to go in that direction, when I say we mean, I mean general, like society goes in that direction to sell themselves short because of something, someone. Um, I think they forget their value and exactly what they were uniquely made for. Like you said, we were created uniquely, each one of us, but people forget that, or people don't believe that. And that has a lot to do with upbringing, trauma, everything that's happened. So, how do we get that value back? How do we instill that value back so that we can make appropriate decisions for ourselves? Uh, in order for you to set healthy boundaries, you need to first love yourself. And boundaries means no, I'm not going to open up, no matter how broke I am, an OnlyFans account. I don't need that attention. What I want is positive attention. No, I don't need to do X, Y, and Z to get uh, whatever whatever response, because I know I am worth it. So I think that has a lot to play with it. Value, how we value ourselves.
I think, and also I think too is like also spending time like outside the media, because I feel like a lot of that social media junk that people like get involved with, it brings out misconceptions, especially like
Yeah,
between like the interactions between men and females. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, if you think about it, we all need each other. A man can't do anything without a woman, and a woman can't do nothing without a man. That's just how it is. But again, it's like sometimes we get misconceptions about what men like, what women like, and stuff like that. You know, that's why like sometimes when you go on social media, like you'll see like, people with, the millions of likes and the followers, and you thinking like, oh, if I expose my flesh, you know what I'm saying, like then I'm gonna get like these different likes and different comments from other people, and I'm gonna get that self-praise. See, fame is like, I heard this one like verse in a song where this one Christian rapper was talking about how fame is one of the most powerful drugs on the planet, because it is,
yeah,
because everybody wants that attention. And that's just a part of the human nature. Like everybody wants that attention. But not everybody goes about it in a good way. See, sometimes people will like want that attention so bad that they'll want to give up what they already value, what they already believe in, just to go get it because they want that feeling. You see what I'm saying? I would rather attract people who's going to like me for who I am, and that's going to accept my values and beliefs, than to go out my way to do something that's not in my character just so I can get money, just so I can get famous. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Because again,
You
like
made
all that stuff's gonna catch up. Because what you may think like, oh, like if I go out here and expose myself, I go out here and do some of these things, then I'm gonna be happy. But the reality is like, even like celebrities that you may look up to, there are some that wish like they weren't famous. You know what I'm
it.
saying? Because it's just a lot, like it's a lot of pressure on
Yeah,
them. And a lot of people think like, oh, like I want to be like this person, that person who got all this attention. But you ain't seeing like what's really
behind the
going
scenes.
on in their mind, because it can be overwhelming. And they have to
Mhm.
like portray themselves in a certain image to where everybody can respect them. And that's a lot on the mental mind, on the mental state. You see what I'm
I
saying?
think. if I could jump in here real quickly, because you made a good point, and you made a point, and I have a story about it. So you made a good point about social media. It can wrap you, and lately, like social media has taken such a different turn. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, and I hate to say it, but since like I grew up in an era where there was no social media. Internet didn't exist. Like I remember the first internet, it was dial up. So when I see the progression, it's kind of crazy. So I had TikTok, and I remember there was this one young lady. I say young, but she was like maybe 40s, and she was talking about how women need to respect themselves more to get respect from someone else. And you made a point about man needs a woman and a woman needs a man. You can't do anything. Well, let's break that down a little bit. It's not that you can't do anything, because I can go own a business without anyone else. Okay, we're not talking about that. What we're really talking about is that we were created to be with one another. A man was created to be with a woman, and a woman was created to be with a man, or to be in a relationship, to have that partner in life. Okay. So, uh, but it all boils down to the respect you give yourself. With this TikTok, she was telling everybody, you should actually give yourself the value. Stop coming on TikTok half naked. Stop coming on all these websites half naked. And the comments literally surprised me, Chris, because all the comments said were like, why should I have to depend on a man? I could do whatever I want. I don't need this. And really, they took what she was talking about way out of context, because what she was saying is give yourself value, know your worth. Because when somebody sees your worth, you set boundaries, your mind changes, and that all has to do with, like you said, some of these actors. When you give yourself value, you put boundaries in place, and you say, I am worth X, Y, and Z, no matter the situation. It could be a situation like you just said with actors. It could be somebody who has a social media presence. When you set your boundaries and you know where you're going, and you have a North Star, I always call it the North Star, there are certain things you won't let affect you, and there are certain avenues you just won't go to. And so when I was looking at all these comments, I was thinking to myself, they were shaming her, talking about she uh, basically saying like, oh, she's depends on a man for everything, she can't be independent. Like, it was feminism, but way to the left,
Mm,
like way out of field. Like,
mm.
it wasn't even like, yes, I stand up for my rights as a woman, I can vote, I can own my own business, I can teach, I don't need anyone, I can be independent. That's healthy. What's not healthy is I can go out on the street and basically wear nothing but little pasties, and yet demand that everybody not look at me. There's like a cause and reaction, or demand respect from people, but I don't respect myself, was the message that they were giving. So when we talk about social media and all that, it has gone so far, and people follow that. It's like a mass that follows that, and a mass that is following it at alarming rates.
Mm.
I want to be like X, Y, and Z. But how do you know what's going on behind the scenes? Like you said, how do you know what's going on behind you? And we're not saying that everyone is like that, because I've met certain, I don't want to say actors, but I've seen certain documentaries and things like that, such as you have, where people really do enjoy their profession as a comedian. And they say, I really like it, but they've also set their standards within the profession. Like, I won't play X role, or I won't do X. And I turned it down because I didn't think it was for me. So bold move, because now we know that these people are setting their standards. But I see that society today, they're losing their value, losing their standards, and it's becoming normal.
Yeah. And that's where the money aspect, that's why, like, when I say self-worth over money, that's where, like, money can be a form of control too. You see what I'm saying? Like, money, like, obviously is a resource that, with the way the world is today, it's essential. Like, what I'm saying? Because that's how you go out and buy things and, try to support yourself and, try to do this and that. But again, sometimes the love of money can be deadly because it can allow you to do things that may be unethical, just so you could like, have it and be able to enjoy your life. That's why like sometimes when you get up into like, some businesses, or like maybe like you want to go into entertainment, or just like big industries that can give you a lot of money. Sometimes, again, like Sandra said, you have to set boundaries, because sometimes people like that may have the money to give you, they may try to tell you, oh, look, like, why don't you do this, even though you in your mind you're like, man, like I would never. You see what I'm saying? Like I would never like go out my way and, you know, dress up in a certain way, or maybe act a certain way, you know, for like 30 million. I mean, some people will do that. But again, that's where you gotta have boundaries to be like, okay, like even if somebody were to be like, I'll give you $1 million, but you gotta do this. And in your mind, you like, man, like that goes against my value, that goes against my belief. That's why you gotta be bold. You gotta kind of like um, be bold and like really like understand who you are. You see, like I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with like Kanye West, because Kanye West, like, I mean, again, I don't agree with everything he say. I really don't. But what he is doing is very bold. Like this man turning down,
Well,
like this
let me tell
man.
you something. Did you read the latest? Sorry to interrupt you, but did you read the latest news?
Not the latest one, but I know like he's doing. What I know for a fact is he's coming on like these news platforms and kind of speaking out like against
Well,
them.
that's not what's happening though, because what he's invoking is neo-Nazi. Adidas has already dropped him.
Yep.
Several marks have already dropped him. And listen, I'm not bashing him for having his own ideals at all, but it's a fact. He has bipolar disorder, and he wasn't taking his meds for a very long time. I am. I have 2 degrees in psychology. Okay. He has very much signs of bipolar. He's already expressed that he has bipolar. He's already been diagnosed, and he said it on his podcast. That has a lot to do. I have a cousin who actually does have bipolar disorder, and it varies in a spectrum. It's very complicated. Um, I know that this could um, possibly have a what's that called, an influence as to why he's coming out and being very bold. But apparently lately he's invoking neo-Nazi movement. And so that was the latest news. I don't believe everything I hear in the news as well, because the news can go left or can go right. You never know. But if this is the case, then I don't think I can support him, you know, because it becomes a question of where do we, where's your line? Where do you really support these people? Do you really? Because then that's outright racism.
Well,
So I
again,
don't
like
know.
like I said, I don't agree with everything my man be saying, but
Yeah,
there
yeah.
are there are a couple things he does say that make you
I've heard.
think like, whoa. Because again, you gotta think about it. He's been in rooms with like some of the most powerful people, like Donald Trump, like who was the president at the time. Like he been in like rooms with dudes like that, to where
Yeah.
like there are a couple like clips to where he exposed and like, okay, like what's really going on in terms of like the music industry and other things of that nature, to where he trying to put people on game to be like, this is what they plan on doing. Because again, if you've been in rooms with like all these different folks, these people that hold all the money, and you listening in conversations, there's information that he know that we don't know as people, because we in those rooms. So I got to give it to him, in that way, to where he trying to like speak out against these folks that's trying to like do harm. You know what I'm saying? Because there was a clip that I saw yesterday to where he was talking to some dude on, I think it was like CNN or Fox News, one of them platforms, to where he was literally like basically just trying to ask like, hey, like why are you trying to do this to our people? And when he say our people, he talking about black folks. So it's just
Mm,
like some things. So again, like I said, I don't agree with everything he's saying,
yeah,
but
me
again, there
either.
are a few things that he is doing to where it's like when he's coming out like that, he trying to put people on game. to be like, yo, look, like this is what's going on. Like this is what's happening. Because again, you
You
got,
know,
if this
I
dude
agree
got
with
all,
yeah,
hold
I
on,
agree with some of that.
because like
Sorry.
you gotta think, like this dude got all this money. He got all he could if he wanted to, he could go off the grid and not say nothing and just live happily ever after if he wanted to. But you got to think like, why is he doing this stuff? If he got all this
I,
money and he can just literally like move wherever and live happily ever after, why is he not doing it? And again, that's where in my from my perspective, that's why I'm like, okay, he really trying to tell people something that he essentially doesn't have to do if he didn't want to. But again, it's a reason why. So that's where
here's I agree with some. There's been several things that I think that aren't that as controversial as people think they are. And there's a certain truth to a lot of things probably that he has said. I question a lot what people say, especially in the media and especially folks who have a lot of money, because sometimes I think, are they here to stir the pot or are they really putting this out there? You know, because again, do they sell themselves for money? It goes back to that question. Are you selling yourself short because of money? Did you get that far and now you just want to stir the pot and be the next big thing out there? So he has had a lot of controversial remarks where people are just like, whoa. But then a lot of things that he has said do make sense, you know. And I don't know if what's going on now, because I just read what's that called, the headline, and then I was like, I'm not listening to this. I have other things that I want to read. You know what I mean? Because if you get yourself involved too much, you're gonna be like, what the heck? But now, with this, now that he's invoking the neo-Nazi and Adidas dropped them and everything else, what is the message?
mhm. that's where
What
that's
what?
where a lot of that's where a lot of people is confused too. Like what I'm saying, because
Yeah.
again, like he's done some crazy stuff. But again, I'm not gonna use this to like bash. I'm just like trying to make a point. I'm just using him as
Yeah, yeah,
to make a point to where it's like sometimes again, it take a lot of big guts to speak out, um
yeah,
especially like if like something is not going the way you think it is. You know what I'm saying? It's easy for people to just kind of keep quiet about certain things. That's why they come out with this term called whistleblower. You know what I'm saying? Like the whistleblower, that's why I pay attention to a lot of them, because those are the ones that have the guts to speak up about what's going on. Like, I don't know if you guys seen the documentary Social Dilemma, but they had
oh, I
like,
heard that.
yeah, no, have you seen that, Sandra?
No, I've heard something about like that documentary though. I've heard
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah, no, you definitely got to go watch it, because, and I've seen it. I saw it, like I went back and watched it again. I've seen it like twice. The first time, like I was watching it, I was like, okay. The second time, that's when I really like wanted to like analyze and see like some of the verbiage in there. And that's a very powerful documentary, because these are people that used to work for these big like tech companies, like big like social media companies like Facebook. You had like a former like executive manager of Facebook on there. You had like the former VP of Instagram, like what I'm saying. Like you have like all these people that coming on this documentary and speaking about what is really going on. And again, these people could have like been quiet. They could have just been like, you know what, I'm getting paid. Like, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep quiet. But again, it takes a lot of guts to be able to speak up for what is right, than to just sit back and be like, oh, like, I'm getting paid, like I'm good. So again, that's where the self-worth and self-worth versus money comes in, to where it's like, if you know something ain't right, and like in your mind, like this is unethical for me, and I can't like stand in here and be able to, support something that's not ethical, but again, is making me money. That's where a lot of
Yeah.
people will choose to go with the money over their own value and their own belief system. You see what I'm saying? That's why it's powerful. Like when people do speak out and try to tell the truth, that's why, I salute them people, because it take a lot of big guts. because they gonna sacrifice, a lot of things in order to, be able to make the ethical decision. And
Yeah.
again, sometimes that's where we, can lack value, or lack, our own like belief system, is where we let people control us with money, where it's like, oh, like, I'll pay you this. Like, if you take this money, like, then then just don't do this. Like, be okay with like going outside, what you believe in, like, what I'm saying? So it's like, again, that's why money can be very dangerous, to where people can use it as a form of control to get you to do what they want you to do. When in reality, it's like, you got to make the best decision for yourself. You know what I'm
A lot
saying?
of people, just to jump in real quick, a lot of people, like you said, this happens in the underground world. There's so many things that nothing is black and white. I always say it's nothing is black and white. There's always something that the human eye doesn't see. There's always things that'll be exposed. There's always things. But I've heard the term in like several people in documentaries, actors and actresses, and not just them, but like singers and things of that nature. Stars, I guess I should say stars, um, have said, they'll ask them, and one of the terms that I hear all the time is stay humble to yourself, stay true to yourself. What are your core principles? What are your core values? And I mean, I would love to take a bigger look at why have you switched? If you knew that when you started, your moral compass was over here, and now all of a sudden your moral compass has gone from where it was to something else, why? What happened in that transition? Where did this person go wrong? And there's a lot of things that go on. I mean, I think when you talked about the whistleblower, first thing that came to mind was that big case. Uh, was it called Epstein? Was it? I didn't read the full case.
Oh, what was it, Greg Epstein?
No, was it? I don't know. We're so far off probably on his name.
I
But,
know,
but
like, Harvey
you
Weinstein.
know the case, right?
Uh, I kind of know Greg Epstein, but I know, like, there was one, like, with Harvey Weinstein,
Harvey, that's it, Harvey.
where it was on, like, I think it was on Netflix. It was on something to where they did like a documentary about how he was
They
like,
did a whole movie on the case and everything else. No
yeah,
one knew what was going on. It was like a secret society. But how many
yeah,
people stood there and allowed this to continue to happen just because, well, the money was good,
mm-hmm,
or they were, I have to say it, sick, like mentally sick to have to want to go to that extent. And apparently, the list of people, we would be shocked. Apparently, that list never came out. Now his girlfriend apparently now is in jail. But again, my question is, how did we get here? How
right,
did we normalize all this? How did we ruin a moral compass? Like I know everybody's moral compass is different because we are all, and we discussed this yesterday, we are all the different mind. But how do we move from knowing, like, you know what's right, you know what's wrong?
right,
How did we move from making wrong so normal? And I mean, I can understand someone saying to me, well, I see the color blue over there. And you say, well, no, 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 I see the color green. Great. But when you tell me something so deep, like, well, you know, it's okay that I'm looking at a kid who's 2 years old and finding that appealing, there's something wrong. Like, there's just certain extremes where you say, okay, I understand that we have a separate mind. What is going on here? Brings us back to moral compass, humility. Where did we lose that?
mm,
And how did we go wrong? And money affects all that. Because when you take a look, everybody who's involved in most of these things, or everybody who loses their way, and when we speak about social media, we speak about gaining power and money, people, I won't say everyone, but I've seen people become different people,
mm-hmm,
somewhat privileged, somewhat, you know, and they lose their moral compass. I mean, I've seen it.
yeah, yeah. It's a sad thing, to where, again, that's why I talk about how money can be like a powerful tool, especially like mentally. It's like you really the same person, but your mind has just changed. Especially like for those who get money
Right.
like that, they went from like being true to themselves to now they're like You know, like people that they used to talk to, they don't even talk to them no more because like they sometimes like that social class can also be a big divide to where it's like you went from being in the middle class, now you in the upper class, and now you thinking like, oh, like, you know, I'm too good for these people like down here. When the reality is everybody, you know, everybody's human. Like nobody's better than anybody else. Everybody been
None.
created for a purpose, for a unique purpose. So, you know, I just don't like when I see people talking about, oh, like because you don't have like $1 million in your bank account, like we can't sit at the same table. Like
Right. That's just
I even look at celebrities like as regular humans. Like people look at celebrities like, oh, they're like some type of gods or goddesses. To me, they're just regular humans. I mean, like Dwayne the Rock Johnson is just a man to me.
he's a nice guy. I met him here in Puerto Rico. He's a really nice guy.
That's just a man to me, bro. Like he ain't no like untouchable dude. Like that's just a man to me. Like you know what I'm saying? It's just like stuff like that. It's like people like you know because they got money now. All of a sudden, like oh they just like untouchable. But it's like you gotta think about it. They was born just like you. They put their pants on the same way you put your pants on. They bleed red just like you bleed red. The only difference is they just got a little bit of money in their pocket. That's it. You see what I'm saying? And they living in
You know,
their purpose.
it's funny that you say that. I know we have a little bit of time remaining, but I do, you know, I do Uber part time. So I Ubered one day and I picked up this guy and I'm hearing their conversation and exactly what you said. He was like, I don't care, I'm rich. Like I really wanted to stop the car and go, you know what, that's it, get out. But I'm not that type. I would never do that. So I just listened to conversation and I thought the same thing you thought. Wow, like it was I thought, was there a necessity to say it? So and the way he said it was so like, I'm privileged, I'm rich, I don't need none of this. And he wasn't even from here. He
Mm.
was, I don't know where he was. He was living here and then he kind of bashed Puerto Rico. And I was kind of like, huh? And I could tell like it was just pure money talking. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, like it was an uncomfortable feeling because I'm humble. Like I think we could all sit at the same table. So what? I mean, I met The Rock and he was super nice. He was like, oh hey, sorry, because he bumped into me. And then when I looked up, I was like, oh hey. He's like, hey, and I was like, hey, and that's it. But when people, when you, that's the first instinct you meet from a person, it's like, oh, your like I didn't want to judge, but I thought to myself, dang, that really was not even necessary. You know what I mean? I said, okay, thank you for telling us. But I just stood quiet. I dropped them off. I wished them well, because they were going to eat. Thank you. But it's happening more and more to where people are putting themselves at a level where, oh, you don't have that money. You can't sit at the table with us. You can't sit with the cool kids. That's the way I looked at it. Like too cool for school.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know we got like 5 minutes left. Um, but yeah, definitely we can continue to keep talking about this all day and go deeper and deeper into it. But you know, the main thing I want y'all to get out of it is like again, don't sacrifice your self value or self, you know, your moral beliefs or values just to get just to get some quick money. You see what I'm saying? Because it's like I heard this one verse in a Christian rap song by my dude Bizzle, man. He always be speaking truth, man. And he had this song called God Over Money. And he made a verse where he was talking about how is $20 worth less than $100 when they're the exact same thing, just with different numbers on them. I was like, man, that's deep right there. You know what I'm saying?
True though.
It's
It's
like,
true.
bro, it's like it's the same paper. It's printed with the same paper, just got different numbers on it. You see what I'm saying?
Apply that to another human being.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was good right there. You see what I'm saying? It's just like again, you think about that verse and you think like, you know, sometimes we value people differently just because of like their money or their social status. But at the end of the day, they human. They need, you know, they need love, they need affection, you know what I'm saying? So again, don't like look at nobody else differently just because of what they got and what you don't got. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with like, you know, trying to, you know, get to know, you know, other people, different people even if they're not in your so-called social class. They still human.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
But I
saying?
think that's, yeah, I think that over centuries, and I can go deeper into this because I did my thesis on this. You know, over centuries, like we've been always been divided, and government has always done that. Well, you're not smart enough, you can't go to this school, and that was way before in the industrial era, where if you had the smallest learning disability, you were cast out. So I think that this division has been happening. It's just growing more now and now and now, and like you said. We're not that different. Just like the guy said, you know, we're looking at each other just different, but we're all the same. We just got maybe different eyes, different
Yeah,
skin, different
exactly.
color. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing changes. We're
Yeah,
all human.
yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Well, with the 3 minutes I got left, just want to remind y'all again, follow us on Instagram at Disinfect Your Life. That's no spaces, no capitals. And follow Miss Sandra on Instagram at Complete Confidence Coaching. You already know where to find her. She's always on tagged on my page, so definitely go check that out. See what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm just like I said, man. I'm gonna be like trying to bring a lot of stuff to light. You know what I'm saying? Because I see the direction that the world is going in, and it's just like, man, like what's going on, man? Like sometimes you look, you be like, man, like what? This again, that again. So again, it's like, it helps that, you know, we try to bring like issues to light and to try to like, work on ways on how we can like, reduce some of this stuff that's happening. You see what I'm saying? So again, I'm gonna be doing a lot of episodes where I'm bringing a lot of stuff to light and just like having y'all see like, oh, like dang, like this really going on out here. And to like just give y'all some helpful, tips and advice on like, okay, like how do we change? How do we change that direction? How do we stop going in that direction? Because again, we can all like essentially we can all like make the world a better place if we want to, but just some of us choose not to. And some of us just don't know like this is happening. So again,
Right. I don't know better.
yeah. So again, man, hey, I appreciate y'all support, man. Definitely go, share this content, you know what I'm saying? And definitely just spread the word, man. Cause I'm telling y'all, me and Sandra, we doing some big things out here, man. We trying to spread positivity, man. So you already know, definitely go support, man. But anyway, man, that's all the time we got for y'all today. This your boy Chris Simmons with my partner in crime, Sandra Cruz. We out, y'all. Take care.
Bye.
Peace.